When you think of Will Creevy, what do you think of? You may think of the crazy lax goalie, or the preppy kid, or just a genuinely happy person. I do not see that side of me, though. I think of myself differently than that. I see the whole me inside and out, while I only show the people what I want them to see. I wear a quote-unquote mask to hide the way I feel on the inside. Everyone wants to be valued for who they are and what they do, so we often rely on other people's opinions and change ourselves based on them. That is when we lose our true selves. No one in this world knows you like you know yourself. They only see the person you portray yourself as. If we change ourselves to become the person who fits in better or meets the social norm, we are giving up on our true selves. I've always been someone who worries too much about the way people think of me. There have been times in which I've changed myself to feel like I fit in, but I usually just put on that mask and hide how I really feel. This has been something that I've done for a long time and have tried to stop. I was constantly trying to be the person that I thought fit in and would bury my true self because I thought that was the easier thing to do. However, doing this only caused more harm than good. A couple of years ago is when things really started to take a turn for the worst. When wearing that mask, I was neglecting the person I truly was. I was not doing anything for myself, and I felt like I was fake. This took a huge toll on me, and I became anxious at all times, worrying about hiding my true self and being a fake. I lost all confidence in myself and the drive to do anything. In the back of my head, I knew there was something wrong, but I simply could not accept it. And my actions began to portray the way that I was feeling in my head. It started with putting less effort into everything I did, and then developed to not doing my schoolwork at all, then progressing to isolating myself from the people I love, and sitting alone in my room and not hanging out with friends. Then there were days that I simply would not get out of bed. I would skip all my classes, lie in bed, accepting the consequences because that was easier than going outside and seeing and interacting with people. I got to the point where I didn't want to do anything anymore. I saw myself as a disappointment living a life that was not doing anything for anyone else. I didn't want anyone to have to deal with me, so I never looked for help, even though I knew I was severely depressed and had bad anxiety. And I did not have the energy to do anything about it. I also did not have the courage to tell someone I needed help. I was afraid of what they might think of me. I was scared to open up to someone. I worried if I was going to choose the wrong person to open up to, and if they were going to judge me. When I thought about telling someone about what was going on, I became even more anxious than I already was. I was not ready to be vulnerable. There was one day that I realized I needed to make a change in my life. A day I regret and I constantly want to forget, although I will never be able to forget, because it opened my eyes to the life that I had to live in front of me. It gave me a new outlook on life. I realized how important my life was to not only me, but my friends and family. That day, I built up the courage to tell someone I needed help, and it was the best decision of my life. I chose to tell my mom that I needed help because I knew she would still love me and not look down on me for the way I was feeling. I simply told her I am not okay and I need some mental help. She simply gave me a hug and said we were going to get through this together. This reassured me that I made the right decision and that I was eventually going to get better. With her help, we built up a support system that I could lean on. I went to see a therapist who I could talk to and would help me develop strategies during the challenging times. He recommended I take medication that would help with my anxiety and depression. I spent time doing the things I love, like playing sports and being outside, to take my mind off of all the bad. With all my new ways to help myself, I began to see an improvement in every aspect of life. I reconnected with friends, began to focus on school, and started to joy in life again. But this improvement was not something that happened overnight. It was a slow progression back towards being happy, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I worked every day to get a little bit better, knowing that some points it would get worse. When I was going through my challenging times, I thought I was going to be able to fix everything myself. That clearly was not the case for me, and it honestly only made things worse. I didn't get better until I was able to accept that I needed help. Taking the step forward to get help can be very difficult, as we can be worried about how people are going to look at us or think of us. But opening up to someone will truly help and did truly help. The world has such a negative view on mental health, and that is something that truly needs to change. And it has been improving, but it's still not where it needs to be. People need to understand how life can be very challenging when dealing with mental health issues. It is often even harder to open up to someone and tell them that something is wrong when people with mental health issues are often looked down upon or seen as a negative. I'm so grateful that I was able to find a support system to lean on. I had people in my life, especially my parents, that wanted to see me get better and see me start to succeed again. I'm not telling you my story because I want you to feel bad for me. I'm simply telling you my story because I want to shed light on the mental health issues people like me face. You never know who may be struggling with mental health issues. You may think someone is a quote-unquote perfect person and as happy as can be, but you never know what demons they are fighting on the inside. And if you are struggling, please find someone you trust and talk to them about what is going on. Most importantly, it is okay to not be okay.